Pitch is swung on, hit the right field, hit deep. Whitefield going back at the track, over his head and over the wall. Do you believe that?
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Ramirez with a drive to deep right, away back, goal!
Shohei gets a bomb out there by the Rocks. And boy, oh boy, this third inning is now showtime.
It is a judgy blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to spin rates to game-changing moments. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us next from the town, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
How is everybody doing today? We got a little A's baseball. A's against the Chicago Cubs. Are we at home or are we at Sloan Park? Where is this battle today going to take place?
Us versus the Northsiders is at Hohokam in Mesa, not Mesa.
It was originally our home, then it became their home, and then now it's back to being our home of spring training. So we got the Cubbies, we got the Athletics coming your way. Ryan Divish from the Seattle Times is going to be here at 11:30 as we're breaking down the Seattle Mariners. I said to Cody before this show started, and I'll say it to you, and got a lot of stuff on the Mariners. Seattle, it's kind of like the Dodgers and Padres when we had that discussion. That you can think that there's an up-and-comer coming, and it's possible, right? As they made the playoffs for the first time since 2001. But they are so far behind the Astros, the way the Padres are so far behind the Dodgers. And like you're wishing on a star thinking the Dodgers are coming back or that the Astros are coming back and that you're going to be sitting there the darling. Could happen, but we got to wait and see. So Seattle is kind of sitting there waiting. And folks, you know, we've talked lately about, hey, listen, during bad times, we're going to try and pump people up. Hey, we've had some good time. Seattle is the last remaining team, A's fans. Think about this. As we talk about, yeah, we've probably been playing a little homer here where we've been going, hey, listen, we've had a lot of success. Let's not forget that. Seattle, I'm going to go Joe Biden here. Seattle, they're the last team in baseball to have never made the World Series. I want you to think about that. There's 30 teams in baseball. 30. Seattle is the only team to have never played in a World Series. How sad is that? They've never tasted it, never seen it. They haven't played in an ALCS since 2001, the year I got married.
I was in 7th grade.
9/11. I mean, they played in the ALCS right after 9/11. That's how long ago it was. Unreal. So we'll talk Seattle Mariners today, but you look at their starting staff, oh, they got thump. Maybe, just maybe. Seattle Mariners, 11:30. Johnny D, because of his bad Wi-Fi over in Angel Land, shocker, things didn't go right over at the Angels camp because the Angels stink. We will play Know Your Angels today because it's fun. It's a fun list. All right. Oh, is this pulling out of the Wayback Machine? Do you see what this is?
When was that?
No clue.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't remember what year giveaways were. College night. Remember we were giving out it was Cal, it was Stanford, St. Mary, giving away the San Jose State A's college night sweatshirt. Busting it out just for you today.
I don't even remember the last time we gave away San Jose State. So busted before I joined the organization.
Really?
I mean, I remember Cal and Stanford nights.
I could bust out the Supercuts barbecue set. That's from like 2011 or something like that.
I mean, we have a lot of the bobbleheads here on the desk. And, we got to pull up when we have Ryan on, we got to pull out the Safeco globe
in honor of the Mariners. I don't hate the Mariners. I just get tired of playing them 80 times a year. It just seems like we play the Mariners way more than anybody else. And maybe it was that run that we'd go to Japan, come back from Japan and open with them. It seems like King Felix. King Felix is a Cy Young. Well, he pitched against us like 12 times. It just seemed like there's just the Mariners. I do not hate the Mariners. I have no reason to hate the Seattle Mariners. Like I'd be like Lou Holtz trying to force some anger here. I do know that it just seems like we play them all the time.
Well, it's only down to 13 this year, but it'll still feel like we played them 19.
Yeah, it'll still feel like we played them 31 times. It's like, oh my God, the Mariners again.
I don't think we played them until April for the first time. We don't play the Astros till May.
I think last year we didn't play the Mariners for like the first part. It's nice to see other people, isn't it? Isn't it going to be nice to see other teams?
We're going to see the Mets before we see the Angels.
I mean, how much do we need to see the Angels and the Mariners? How many times do I need to see the Texas Rangers? I don't. It's going to be nice. We'll see the D-backs. We'll see the Pirates. We'll see the Braves.
Brewers.
We'll see the Marlins. We'll see other teams, Brewers, other teams, fresh meat versus here's the Rangers. And let's face it, there are times where our division stinks. So when you're just seeing bad teams play bad teams, the same bad teams play the same bad teams, that's not entertaining. I'm sorry. I'd rather see something unique, something fresh. Speaking of that, the WBC is over. I think we're all going to say it was definitely a huge success. And congratulations to everybody who was a part of it. No question. One of the questions I have today is, how does the WBC affect the U.S. and international? I don't know what the ratings are in the U.S. We know, God, in Japan, they'll be incredible. You'll probably have like 90-something% of all televisions we're watching this game. Internationally, the game is a huge success. It doesn't, to me, I'll look at it as the same thing I always say about bowl game season. And whenever I hear people say, there's just too many bowl games, my answer to that is, well, why do you say that? I mean, it's December. There's no new programming coming out. There's nothing. There's not. Hulu's not putting anything out. Netflix is not. No one's doing anything during the holidays. And all you have, especially in my house, is bad Lifetime movie, Christmas movies. And they're on every night. They've made you realize how many of these bad Christmas movies they have made? And let me tell you, they are not geared. And I know we have a female audience that watches A's Cast Live. You know what I'm talking about. They're not geared for men at all.
No, and my wife's grandparents watch all the Hallmark and Lifetime Christmas.
Hallmark too, yes.
Yeah, that's all they do.
Lifetime, Hallmark. They're like hand in hand. They got to be the same producers and writers.
They had me download the app for them on their smart TV so they could watch it for Christmas around Christmas time every year.
And I sit there because I have a wife and 2 daughters, and I sit there and I watch these movies, and it's just like, I don't care what. To me, the bowl games are, you have football to watch. So whenever somebody says, well, I can't believe they have so many bowl games. Well, what are you watching at 5 o'clock every single day? You watching Judge Judy, Dr. Phil?
I used to say I'd watch PTI around the horn at that time, but
I mean, I have no problem putting on some college bowl game where you're going to have two programs. There's going to be some guys who are going to play in the NFL are going to be in this game. Background noise, put the college bowl game on. It's December 17th. Nothing else is going on. Give me a bad bowl game any day of the week. I'll watch some football. It's football. Hell, I watched XFL the other day. Oh. I admit it. Yeah, I admit it. They got some interesting things going on in the XFL. The 3-point conversion. I actually liked it.
Remember, the USFL is coming back.
USFL's right.
As they call it, real football is back.
I'm telling you. We're going to talk after the show. We're going to tape with my old buddy Darren Arbett. Arena football back in the Bay Area. The Bay Area Panthers are about to start up on Sunday. I will watch football. That's what the World Baseball Classic is to me. World Baseball Classic is, it's baseball. I got something to watch. Did I watch games? Yes, I watched last night. I watched multiple games, especially the late. They replay games at night on MLB Network. I'm a night owl, and I got to watch games. Now, here's the thing that really I noticed yesterday. So a lot of people out there, especially on Twitter, and for some reason, someone's been saying, I've already told you I got kicked off Twitter. And then I just got another account that I've never tweeted. I just follow baseball people for information. Who's the person that keeps saying that I'm lying?
I forget who the user is. Something Calbear Canna or something like that on Twitter. They keep tweeting out the
Mark Canna's my friend. Last time I saw Mark Canna, he came up and gave me a big hug, told me he missed me.
I know.
I'm not buying that's Mark Canna. The Canna family lives all around me. I'm not buying that.
Actually, what is Canna's Twitter name? It's like Big League. No, it's his Instagram. Big
League.
League.
Don't waste my time. All right. So
out of the park, Mark.
I've noticed because the winter meetings, this last winter meetings was like the biggest baseball get together of all time. Everybody showed up. It didn't matter what your position is. Everybody showed up to the winter meetings because this was the biggest gathering. It was a convention. It normally is a convention, but was the convention of conventions because we hadn't been together in so long. So people that we've had on the show that we've never met, we got to meet in person. I mean, everybody was there. If you weren't at this winter meetings, you're like, I would really question your standing in baseball if you weren't in San Diego.
Yeah, we saw. Right? I mean, we saw old friends. We made new friends.
Everybody was there. If you weren't at the winter meetings, it's like, are you in baseball? Because everybody was there. And I noticed that all these same people, it's like people became bullies about this. And we're against bullying here on A's Cast and A's Cast Live and with the Oakland Athletics. It's like, if you don't like this, if you don't think this is like the greatest thing ever, you're an idiot. There's something wrong with you if you don't think the World Baseball Classic is the greatest thing ever. Like, I mean, even our guy Farron yesterday, everybody, they're saying, some people have said this is the greatest thing they've ever seen in sports. And you're like, okay, I get the sales job, right? Like I said, I'll sell bowl games, Capital One bowl month, right? On ESPN.
It's something like that.
It's always Capital One. Yeah. I'm in. You want me to watch the Alamo Bowl on a Thursday night during the holidays?
Bahamas Bowl.
I'm in. Bahamas Bowl. I'm in. I'll watch it. I'm not going to watch the whole game, but I'll probably watch some of it if I'm at home. It's football. And there's good players. I'll watch football. I love football. I mean, football is the best viewing sport there is. It's not deniable. But I'm not going to sit here and act like it's the Super Bowl. Man, these guys are selling it hard. And there's a reason. I started investigating this. And there's a reason. But I'm just going to tell you, because I know we have a lot of Warrior fans that listen. What if we have Game 7? Right? I don't know if the Warriors are going to be in it. Probably not this year, but whatever, you know. Game 7. It's final shot. Ball's coming out of bounds. We come out of the timeout. It's Game 7. This is it. We've had 6 classic games. It's now Game 7. Final shot. Teams come out of timeout. They line up. Everybody's jockeying. Everybody's trying to get position. Guy comes out. You pass it to me. I throw it back to you. Cody, you're shooting. Final shot. The scoreboard lights up. Time's done. It's in or out. Winner, loser. Bang, whether it goes in or not.
Thank you, Mike Breen.
Confetti's flying. This is the greatest thing ever. It's the NBA. It's ESPN. It's ABC. You got an NBA champion, Game 7. And then 10 minutes later, as they're doing all the interviews and they have the panel up there, whoever the panel is, and somebody stands in there and goes, yeah, this was great, but I got to tell you, the WBC in March, that was the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know.
How do you think that's going to go over?
Not well. I don't think it's going to happen. I can't picture Mike Breen saying that because you dropped bang. So
okay, a couple months later, we're with the World Series. This is 6 epic games of the World Series. Managers making decisions, players. This is your legacy. This is what it's all about. Coming down to the final thing. Maybe Ohtani's coming out of the bullpen to face somebody in the 7th game of the World Series. It's madness. It's great. A walk-off home run. Joe Carter, touch them all. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life. And then 10 minutes later, after everybody's celebrated and they get the panel up there that's on the field, and we're flipping over to MLB Network, someone goes, yeah, this was electric, man, but oh, man, that Mexico-Japan game in the semifinals, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. How's that going to go over?
Probably not well.
Okay, I'll give you another one. Fast forward to the Super Bowl. You 49er fans. I don't know who's leading you there. I don't know if Purdy's elbow's okay. Trey Lance.
Whoa, don't sleep on Sam Darnold.
Ben Roethlisberger. Do you hear about that?
Wait, what about Ben?
Ben Roethlisberger supposedly was contacted by the Niners in 2022, I think it was.
So during this season.
During the season.
I was like, because why would – oh, boy.
He's been out for 2 years, right?
No, this is his first year retired.
Or maybe it was this year. I don't know. Look at it.
It would have been 2022 would have been this past season.
Okay, yeah.
Because it was Kenny Pickett's first year as a starter.
I read it. I read it on the internet, so it has to be true. Ben Roethlisberger was contacted by the Niners. So you Niner fans, I want you to think about this. Niner football, a dynasty, 5-time Super Bowl champion, 49, all the Hall of Famers. Leo Nomalini going all the way back. Kezar. The greatness that is the San Francisco 49ers. Brody won golf tournaments on the senior tour. He was such a great out. Y.A. Tittle.
Oh, wow. We're really going back.
Yeah, we're going to who was the little short guy that developed the jump pass for the Niners? He was a Santa Clara guy. You Niner fans, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I can't think of who it is.
He's a legendary. It's old, though. God, I know it. I'll get back to it.
I have the internet in front of me. I can find it, so you're not.
Yeah, find it. Who invented the jump pass?
With this 49ers QB from Santa Clara, right?
No. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can do it that way.
Well, that's not going to help.
Jump pass. He's famous for the jump pass.
Stop telling me about Brock Purdy.
Because you're going with standard guys. You got to do a question for history. Who developed the jump pass?
No, it's not C.J. Beathard. I'll find it. He went to Santa Clara University. He's from Santa Clara.
I think Santa Clara. But the guy quarterback for the 49ers in the 50s, something like that, developed the jump pass. All right.
We'll find it.
So,
we'll get it.
Niner fan, I'm speaking to you. It's a Super Bowl. You got that great defense. It's the end of the game. Trey Lance is the guy. Trey Lance is leading you down the final seconds, right? Final play of the game. Red Razor 95. Red Razor 95. This is it. Clock's ticking down. Oh, my God, is a snap. Trey Lance gets the ball in shotgun. He jukes a guy. Rolls left, gets hit. Rolls right, throws it into the end zone. There's Debo, right? Super Bowl. And the confetti's flying. Next thing you know, there's Terry Bradshaw. I don't know who's doing the game this year. Is it Fox? Is it Fox?
I don't know.
Fox is doing the game. Terry Bradshaw. He's handing what's his name?
Trey Lance?
No. The
Debo?
owner.
Oh, Jed York.
Jed York. He's handing the Lombardi Trophy. This is greatness. And then all of a sudden they go back and there's Howie Long. And there's Jimmy Johnson, and there's Strahan, and they'll have somebody else, and they're all sitting around, and someone goes, "Yeah, but that WBC game between Mexico and Japan."
It's going to be CBS. So you think Tony Romo's going to say that?
Tony Romo's like, "Guys,
I saw it, Jim.
Jim, I got to tell you, as great as Trey Lance and the 49ers win the Super Bowl is, that World Baseball Classic, man, that Italian game against Japan at the Tokyo Dome." Whoa, that's my point. It's like, are we overselling this thing? And yes, and I know why. Do you know who owns the WBC?
Major League Baseball?
Not by themselves.
I don't know then. I thought it was.
Neither did I. They have a partner in this. There's a partner. This is a co-owned deal. You ready?
Let's hear it.
The Players Union.
Oh, so Tony Clark and company.
the two bodies that can't stand each other, the two people that have been fighting and stabbing each other in the back and fighting for years and are still fighting to this day, they fought all the way up till, from what I know, they fought all the way up to signing the last collective bargaining agreement. And then as they left the table after they signed it, they were still fighting. They've done nothing but fight, and literally the animosity between the commissioner and the head of the Players Union is so unhealthy, unreal. But guess what? On this one venture, baby, we're together. So Team Japan, for winning it, got $3 million. Team USA got $1.7 million. All these little federations get a couple $100,000. Where the hell is all the money going? All the sold-out stadiums, the television, you're going to tell me about all these ratings that they're selling, all the merchandise. Where you think Edwin Diaz getting hurt or Jose Altuve getting hurt matters? Hell no. They're making money. But who's making money? Oh, we now know. I guarantee you 99.9% people have no idea that the Players Union owns part of this WBC franchise. It's a franchise. They own it together. They're printing money together. So why did everybody get the script to say, pound how great it is? Pound it, pound it, pound it. How great it. You go on Twitter, you go anywhere, they're going to be selling you, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen, the WBC. Oh my God, the action. This is the most watched game. They all got the same. It's almost like a political thing, right? When the White House wants a message out there, the people who are the backers of whoever's in the White House, it doesn't matter which party, they both do it, they start hammering the point. It's almost like this mandate went out from not only baseball, but from the Players Union to the media, to all of us. We didn't get the memo, and everybody said, pound this thing, this is incredible. Is it cool baseball? Yeah. I'd rather have it than not. Like I said, like the college bowl games, it gives me something to watch. But once you follow the money, as my father always said, now you understand, like everybody's like, dude, have you listened to the commentators? Do you listen to the guys on MLB Network after these games? I mean, they even got A-Rod and Big Papi trying to act like this is the greatest thing ever. I mean, it's like, wow, cool. Baseball, cool. More baseball, good. We're going to act like this is bigger than any other event. I mean, there's people saying this is the greatest thing they've ever seen in sports. This is the greatest thing this is better than every Final Four, every Super Bowl, every Masters. I saw Tiger Woods with my own eyes win the U.S. Open at Pebble Beach. The 100th U.S. Open was the greatest achievement a golfer has ever, the way he played versus everybody else. It was a historic performance. And Tiger Woods is an all-time global athlete. I've been to the Final Four. I've been to the Super Bowl. I've been to the NBA Finals. I've been to the Stanley Cup. I've been to the Masters. You're trying to sell me South Florida, rinky-dink ballpark. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. That's my 2 cents.
I watched my favorite team win the Stanley Cup in person. I think that ranks a little higher.
I fell asleep in last night's game.
I went to the World. Seriously,
I took that electric blanket my wife gave me 2 Christmases ago. I was just on the couch, the electric blanket. I woke up in the 9th inning. Trout, Ohtani, great. That's awesome. I fell asleep. Oh, by the way, greatest thing you've ever seen, 3 hours, 18 minutes, 4 solo home runs.
You forgot the 13 pitchers used, or what was it? What the number I had? 13.
That was you. I didn't have that. 13 pitchers used, 4 solo home runs. That sounds like the baseball we're trying to get rid of, right?
Let me make sure. Yeah, 13 pitchers used, and yes, that's what we're trying to get. We're trying to move on from. Now, don't get me wrong. The 9th inning was great, seeing Ohtani and Trout. And I joked to my wife.
That's just a couple minutes of the 3 hours and 18 minutes.
Because there were so many jokes you could throw out there, and I'll give you one right now. I told my wife last night, because she's an Angels fan. I said, that's the biggest at bat Trout and Ohtani are going to have all year.
I got a question for Johnny. Who's won more World Series championships and WBC championships, Mike Trout or Commander Cody?
Fair.
How many? Who's won more, you or him?
Neither.
You're tied.
Wow.
Trout's got nothing on you.
Are you trying to say look at that? That's I don't know if I should be happy or offended.
I mean, Mike Trout, greatness. Has he ever had a moment in anything? Do we got to go back to high school for a great moment?
Millvale, New Jersey.
What is the great moment Mike Trout has had in his career?
I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head.
I mean, I'm looking around. Is anybody going to pop up out of somewhere and give me a greatest player to have ever played, huh? When's he going to have a moment?
Maybe when he hit his he has 350 home runs, I think.
That's just an individual achievement on a bad team.
Yeah.
When has he ever come up big doing anything?
They made the playoffs 2014. Last time they won the division, right? When they won the division that year.
Does Mike Trout have a signature moment?
Not that I can think off the top of my head.
Is there like anything where ball hit, flash cameras flashing? Oh, this is amazing. Is there anything? Or he hit 2 home runs when they were 15 games back.
I think it's more.
That's not his fault. It's not his fault. Okay, here he was last night. WBC, Captain America. He had what, 1 hit, the bloop double in the first at bat.
Yeah.
That he blooped it. Where's the coming up big? Greatest player coming up big. Let's go. You against him.
I think we saw
and you whiff.
I think we saw who the best player for Team USA was. Then it was Trey Turner. He was unbelievable.
Oh, and then last night we had people saying, see, this shows Trey Turner was the best shortstop in the free agent market.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Because you could just base it off that. Look at all the stuff we were basing off these exhibition games. That Trey Turner, now he was the right guy to sign. That all the rest of you guys, Correa, you bust. Bogarts, you bust. Dansby, Swanson, you.
I was waiting for you to say Swansby.
Dansby, Swansby, Dansby, Swanson. All you guys are a bust because Trey Turner went off. What do you have, 5 dingers?
Yeah. He had I forgot how many he had in a certain game. Was it 4 in 3 games or something? It was ridiculous.
I'm just saying, follow the money. And when you follow the money, you see why we are getting hammered by it. I liked it. It was fun. We'll move on. Internationally, goes back to when Scott Boras was on this program. We'll keep hammering that. Scott Boras said, at some point, there'll be Major League Baseball teams in Asia. And at the time, we thought he was crazy. You look at the television ratings, he's not crazy. But, yeah, once you find out that the Players Union owns part of this franchise, it's interesting. Do we got Ryan?
Yeah, let me add him here real quick.
Ryan, what's shaking? How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Well, we were just talking a little double WBC, but we've been going around to every camp, and obviously the Mariners camp, very, very interesting, as they're a team that if you're thinking if the Astros they're gonna slip, it's the Seattle Mariners who will be there waiting.
I mean, that's what they think for certain. I mean, they've made that their goal. Usually in past years, they've been nebulous in their goals, like, oh, just get better every day and everything like that. But now that they made the postseason, they're coming after the Astros. They say they want to win. Their goal is to win the American League West and then, dethrone the Astros. And it's a nice goal to have. I don't know if it's realistic all the time, but I mean, they're probably closer to they're in a better position to do it than they've ever been, I guess would be the way I'd put it.
What did it mean for the city to finally taste postseason for the first time since 2001?
Oh, it was massive. Like everybody talks about the Seahawks, and for a long time, the Seahawks ruled the city. And there's still a lot of interest. But even when I was an intern back in 2000 with the newsroom in Tacoma, I was out there and I saw when the baseball team is good, what it means to that city. And it was craziness. Like the last month of the season, it was tons of fans every day, just an excitement. When you have a team that's in the playoff race in that last month of the season, there's nothing better than baseball. And then we saw, in the 18-inning game and just the excitement over this team. And it's been huge for the city. And the anticipation for this season is really high. I mean, I've been covering the Mariners since 2006, and I don't remember it ever being this high. Last year they felt like it was a playoff team. This year they feel like it could be a division contender. Fans believe it, and it's, we're seeing it down here. There's fans everywhere. You go to these games on the road, even there's more Mariners fans than there are obviously like Cleveland doesn't draw well, or Milwaukee or some of these places, but you just seen more Mariners fans than you ever have down here.
Well, that moment was against us last year. God, I always want to call it, it's T-Mobile. I always want to call it Safeco. Cal Raleigh, right, went deep and clinched, and all the A's players who, a lot of them are gone, but everybody just sat there and went, wow, what a cool moment. As we talk about the Mariners are the last team not to make the World Series, you need moments like that to eventually get to a World Series. But what was that moment like? We were watching it on television back here on the Bay. That seemed special.
Yeah, for me, I was just happy they finally did it after kind of screwing around for about a week and, just not winning games and prolonging I wouldn't say the agony, prolonging the ecstasy. We're sitting there trying to plan our playoff trips and trying to figure out what the hell we're going to do with all this. And, they just weren't winning games. They went down to Oakland, didn't play very well. And so when they finally got it done, it was pretty cool. I mean, and I think everybody knew it could happen that night. And I think also the idea that they won the game, like they didn't, because there was a chance that if the Orioles had lost that day, that earlier in the day, they would have clinched without winning a game or whatever. And so the Orioles won, and for Cal to hit that homer and the way it did, it was pretty perfect ending, or beginning, I guess, too. But it was fun. I mean, like, I had pre-written kind of a large part of my story about making the postseason before it happened, just to have it ready, and then just kind of work all the Cal stuff in, because it's like, it's 21 years they've been there, so there's a lot's happened in 21 years of going without the postseason. So to try and write it up was interesting, but it was cool. Like, I'd never, I'd watched the A's clinch postseason spots twice in Seattle, if I recall. It might have been 3 times. I remember seeing the writers come up, doused in champagne and everything. I was like, that looks interesting. I don't know if I really want that aspect of it, but it seemed like it would be cool to cover.
Yeah, when I think about leadership and you want to have kind of everybody pulling on the same rope, I think about Service, I think about Dipoto. I mean, these guys go all the way back to their days as players together with the Colorado Rockies. Just talk about how what you have there up in Seattle where everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, like, continuity is huge. It's just huge when you're trying to build something, and that was a problem with the Mariners. Like, this is a team that fired Bob Melvin after he had 2 winning seasons.
Yeah.
So, like, it's they after Piniella, there was Scott Service was the first manager that I ever covered that got a contract extension. Now he's had 2 of them. Like, I covered a lot of managers.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was after I got there. I covered Piniella as an intern. Then I didn't have Bomel, but then Hargrove, John McLaren, Jim Riggleman as an interim, Don Wakamatsu, Darren Brown as interim, Lloyd McClendon, Eric Wedge, and that, I don't know, might be different order. And now Scott Service. I mean, like, I've covered a ton of managers, and I've covered Bill Bavasi, Jack Sorenzik, now Jerry Dipoto as GMs. Like, they've had the same group in place, and when you have the same group in place, you have the same philosophy in place in terms of what you believe makes you a winning baseball team. I mean, I know with the A's for a long time, it was market inefficiency, and that's how they won their games. The Mariners, obviously, they've come in and they have their own ideas about what makes them successful. It's about strike zone control, pitching and hitting, all these different things. And then they go out and they get players that match that, that fit what they want to do, and they believe in having athletes and all this other stuff, run prevention. So all these things that they believe in, the organization has allowed them the time to build it up. It's not like a college football team where you get 3 years and they fire you. You got to get your own recruits in. Same with the Mariners. They've been able to draft, develop, and get the players that they wanted in, and then kind of build it up. I mean, there are probably plenty of times where we thought, maybe Jerry and Scott were done. Even last year, they were 10 games under 500 on June 19th, and they were going nowhere slowly. And it looked like it was going to be a miserable year, and there was talk that somebody was going to get fired. The ownership here has allowed them to kind of, come back and stay in place. They allowed them to do this, the rebuild, knowing that, 2019 and even possibly 2020 was going to be tough in terms of wins and losses. And, what's happened is it came to fruition a little bit faster as a rebuild. They were successful in 21. They won 90 games. They make the playoffs last year, winning 90 games. Then you look at their roster, there's a lot of young talent in place to make a run at the Astros this year and maybe next year as well.
I just look at the projected rotation. Now, we talk about here all the time. You're going to need more than 10 starters. It's just the reality of baseball that the average team is going to use around 12, 13 guys. But when I think about Castillo coming over, I mean, he's ace-like. He signed the extension. Gilbert has tremendous talent. Ray under contract. Kirby. I mean, you got to rotate Gonzalez. I mean, just think of the guys. Just talk about if you look at a big-time strength, it's definitely in the rotation.
Yeah, I mean, the pitching in general, the bullpen and the rotation. I mean, like, this is what happened last year, and it doesn't happen often, rarely if ever, especially last year too, because of the quick ramp up to the season. But the Mariners never had a starter miss an outing due to injury. They never had one starting pitcher go on the injured list at any point Matt Brash started the season in the rotation, kind of pitched his way out of it. They brought in George Kirby instead. He made all of his starts. Brash moved to the bullpen. You know, the one times that they've had to use other starters was they were kind of resting George Kirby to control his innings. So they optioned him out right before the All-Star break so they could control his innings count. But yeah, they didn't have that. You know, I don't think that's going to happen this year. But, you know, you have those 5 guys. You have Marco Gonzalez, who 2 years ago was a player that got 3.5 WAR. That's a very valuable pitcher. You have him as your number 5. And then you still have Chris Flexen in the bullpen, a guy that won 15 games in 2021, available as a spot starter. And then if you look at their prospect list and kind of what we've seen this year, all their top prospects that are ready to kind of contribute are all pitchers. You know, they have a kid named Bryce Miller who will start the season at AA, throwing 99 with a slider. They got Emerson Hancock, I think the 4th overall pick, who's kind of figured some stuff out. He'll be there. And they kind of stole a guy from the Giants named Prelander Baroa, who's throwing 100 miles an hour with a slider. You know, they have all those guys waiting to help. So it's like, yeah, if you're going to use 12 pitchers in a year, you want to make sure that you have, you know, they have in line about 9 really good pitchers that they can call up with real stuff. You know, you're not calling up a quad A guy just trying to hope that he gives you an outing and pieces it together. No, they have real guys. I mean, and even honestly, like they have Tommy Malone, who's like 100 years old, but he'll get outs at the big league level if you put him in there and use him in the proper way. So they have depth at starting pitching that they haven't had. And a lot of people think they should trade some of that depth to add to their offense, like move Chris Flexen to help out. But right now, I think they're going to keep him because they want to have that depth and that insurance in case one of these guys does get hurt.
The USC Trojan, our old buddy Tommy Malone, a guy who started playoff games for the Oakland Athletics. It's always great when he gets called up and we're able to have him again on the show. And then when I look at the lineup, I mean, Julio Rodriguez, for the first time you looked at him, you went, this kid's got it all, right? He's got speed, he's got power, he's got the beautiful smile, he's got star written all over him. The question always is, and we've been hearing about it for years, is Kelenic legit or not? I mean, last 2 years, he's hit like a $186 the last 2 years. We've heard so much about him since he got the trade. And he was the uber prospect. He was the guy that was going to be great. Would you buy stock in him?
Yeah, I would. I don't know that I'd buy stock in him being like the star that everybody thought he was going to be. But I think he's going to be a good major league player. You know, I think he'll be a productive major league player. You know, I think a lot of with what Jared's path to the big leagues has been kind of skewed with, you know, the accusations of service time manipulation and you know, wanting it to get that contract and trying to show who he is, and, you know, outside influences like agents and family and all this stuff trying to push him a little bit faster than he needed to. And even the Mariners were guilty. I mean, like, you saw it a couple of years ago, how much they hyped them, you know, their See Us Rise campaign, which is all focused on prospects. And, you know, they brought him up after 5 AAA games after they said they weren't going to do that. So you bring him up and he fails, and they didn't really know what to do. And then they had to leave him out there because they had so many injuries in the outfield. So they didn't really help set him up for success. And I think it was a hard lesson for Jared because he never failed before, and just how he reacted to it. And I think this offseason, he just changed up a lot of parts of his life. You know, he stayed down in Arizona full time, went to Southern California and worked with private hitting coach that the Mariners were more than happy to let him do. Kind of the first time in his life where he got away from the people that had taught him hitting and taught him to be a player, you know, growing up, and he found new voices. And you look at him now, and he's just a lot more calm. The swing changes look great. He's athletic. He's finally using his athleticism. He's not built like a bodybuilder anymore. He's still, I mean, like, you know, he still looks like one of those Scottsdale bros that's over here down in the valley, but like, he can move now. Like, he's allowing the athleticism he's had always to play more than trying to be a guy that's just trying to all or nothing swings and trying to hit for power. So I think it's going to be better. You know, do I know, like we were talking about the other day with my columnist Larry Stones, like if this kid hits, you know, if he just improves marginally to hit 240, I mean, how hard he hits the ball, you know, if he hits 240, has enough contact rate to hit between 240 and 250 just this year, you're talking 25 doubles, and at least 25 homers, because every ball he hits is over 100 miles an hour, off the bat. So like if he can clean up the contact rate, make contact more consistently, the lack of shifts, I mean, all that stuff should lead to success in terms of results. I mean, we've already seen it this year. He has with 2 strikes a couple of times, or quite often, and with 2 strikes, he's not trying to hit a bomb and like sell out swing. He's taking the breaking ball, hitting it up the middle for a single because there's guys not there anymore, So I think the no shifting, the change in his approach at the plate, the swing changes, everything else should help him to be, a good major league player. Will he be an all-star? Maybe not this year, but maybe, with this success, if he has some sort of success this year, maybe he gets back to the talent track or the potential track that everybody thought he would be, because nobody plays harder. I mean, like, this kid works his ass off. I've been impressed like that. Sometimes you almost think he takes everything too seriously, but he really does work hard at being good at this.
I've been down to spring training 3 times this year, and every single year you have one thing that you take away from camp. And I think this year, your line, a Scottsdale bro, I think that will be the number one thing I take away from spring training in 2023. Because if you've been down to Scottsdale and Old Town Scottsdale at night, you know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have a tribal tattoo of some sort on your arm, a little bit of a tank top, a lot of gel. You just come from, you probably just went to the gym, did some curls to
do the curls for the girls.
Yeah, build it up a little bit, and then you go out there and you rock it a little bit. But no, yeah, it's definitely, and Jared is not like a Scottsdale bro in very many ways, but like, he's got the look. Like, we used to joke that he looked like, because he had a little cockiness to him, that he was Johnny Lawrence from the original Karate Kid, but yeah. He really is not. He's kind of the opposite of that in a lot of ways, but that's what, he has that look, geez, if I look like him, I'd be wearing tank tops all the time and going out in Scottsdale too, but it's pretty funny. Like, I really do like Jared. I think I find him to be entertaining, and I like how he plays the game. And I really do, I don't really, I'm not a fan of the team or whatever, but like, I'm happy if he has success because I like him. I've known him, for a long time now, since he first came over here. And I feel like, some of the stuff that's happened to him, and kind of messed up his path to being successful. Some of it's on him, some of it's on the people around him, some of it's on the Mariners. But I think some of it, like, the criticism has been unfair. Like, not everybody, is good right away, and whether or not he kind of can stay good is the big thing. And I think he'll be okay this year.
Let's end on this, because you look at the lineup. Obviously, Ty France can be a monster. Suarez hits bombs. Teoscar Hernandez gets brought over. Colton Wong, AJ Pollock. We mentioned J-Rod's a star. It's an interesting lineup that can score way more runs. You got the pitching staff. So, I mean, it's kind of the question. What has to happen for the Mariners to take over and be more than just a wild card team, to truly battle the Houston? Is it the Astros falling a little bit? What has to happen for the Mariners to win the AL West?
Yeah, I think it's the Astros definitely have to take a step back. Maybe it's their pitching. They have such good pitching. It rivals the Mariners. We saw that, 18 innings of just striking out guys in Seattle. I think the Astros have to take a little step back, and the Mariners need to find more consistent offense. Last year they just go through horrible droughts where they just didn't score runs, and it was Ty France and Julio doing everything. They need to have more consistency. And I do think that, look, even if Jared Kelenic is better than he's been and he becomes, 2 or 3 WAR player, they feel like a bat short. So, like, if they're at the trade deadline and they're looking around and there's a good bat on the market that can help them out at the DH or maybe a corner position, then they have to go get it. They have to go get it and supplement that lineup, because that's what's going to push them through, to win a division. Everybody talked about how they matched up with the Astros in the divisional series. Yeah, that's 3 games, 5 games, whatever. To really take a division and get that first round bye and everything, it's sustained success, and it does feel like they're a bat short right now. Even if Kelenic is good, it feels like they're a bat short. So they need to go out and get one if they can during the midseason.
All right, so I'm looking at the schedule. It's March 23rd. It's surprising. It seems like the A's and the Mariners play like 60 times a year, but we're not going to see you for the whole first month. So you've got a month. We'll see you May 2nd. You got a month to get in shape, get a fake tan, get barbed wire tattoo on your bicep. You got a month to become a Scottsdale bro by the next time we see you.
You know, I already have kind of the permanent tan, so I don't know if I need the tan part of it, but, you know, it's like I probably have to blonde up the hair a little bit. Yeah, the tribal tattoo, I don't know if I'll go with that, but I already got one on my leg. It was painful. I don't handle pain well, so we'll see what we can do. I mean, the working out thing, I'm a baseball writer. Have you ever seen an in-shape baseball writer ever? I mean, it just doesn't exist.
Hey, we always appreciate the time. Good luck the rest of the spring, and we'll see you in May.
All right, sounds good. Take it easy.
Take care. Oh, that's great. That's the line of the spring. Because, yes, it's if you go out downtown Scottsdale, there is a certain type of Arizona type. Are you switching on me here? There we go.
Yeah, I'm coming back.
But I think you'd see it in a lot of certain places. You can get certain parts of Southern California. I don't know how much Northern California, but it is that super pumped up, dyed hair, tattoos. When we haven't been there. So you would have had a fake tan because we had my last trip to spring. It was actually nice, but it still wasn't like super nice. So it's been, even Arizona's been, we've had a real winter, man. We've had a real winter. So they fake tan, barbed wire, tribal tattoo.
I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not. It's so stereotypical. It's hilarious. Blonde girls. Yeah, I mean, it's like Scottsdale is Scottsdale, and it's not changing. Scottsdale. I love Scottsdale.
It was a good time when we went. We were just there.
I've never had a bad time at spring training. I've never had a bad. I'll say this: I'm lucky. Whether I've gone there for baseball or I've gone there for NFL, it was never at a time when it was smoking hot.
Yeah,
I've been going to Arizona since the 90s. I've never been there when it's hot. So my time with the Raiders, it was always, it was down into the 80s. All these years going to spring training. I've been going to spring training. I'm fortunate. I've been going since the 90s. I've never, wait a minute, played against Arizona State one time in Grand Canyon in college. That doesn't count, but that was way back when, and it was like 100 degrees.
So
but as
Tempe
a professional media guy, I've never been to Arizona when it's been 100 degrees.
Where does Grand Canyon play? What city?
Don't even remember.
I know. Obviously, Arizona State's in Tempe, but
there was in 1991 or something like that. Was the last time.
Was it a tournament, or are you guys just playing them?
No, we played Arizona State, then we played Grand Canyon.
Oh, all right. Well,
that was the last time I've been to Arizona. So, I mean, literally 30 plus years ago when I was there when it was hot. And I remember it was hot. That's why people say, oh, Arizona's great. I go, yeah, it's great. But I've never had to see it at 110 or 115 or however hot it is.
Phoenix.
To Phoenix?
Yeah.
So one of the guys that works at Fitch Park, the Lou Wolf complex, down the street from Hohokam, where all our guys train, told us, if you remember when we were there for fantasy camp, he told us that Thanksgiving, you want to talk about a difference in just how the weather has been? Last year, Thanksgiving in Arizona was 98 degrees.
I'm good.
Like, I like Thanksgiving to be a little cool, right? It's football. It's Thanksgiving. We got 3 NFL games. We got some college football. And there's a big college football day Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. It's football weather. The leaves are changing. There's a different smell for football season. 98 degrees on Thanksgiving. You're hanging out in the pool, and it's 98. Like, oh, I don't know if I want that.
Somebody, one of our YouTube commenters said, you got to have the Axe body spray too for the Scottsdale bro.
You know what? We need to find a platform where we can interact with the fans more.
I mean,
because we want to. It's just, it's kind of like we're kind of stuck with what we got. It's kind of where over the years, I think this thing will continue. Like, we're on StreamYard. Different people use different things. I think over time, it's going to be what we're trying to do is a little advanced for StreamYard, because mostly what you watch, like right now, what you're watching us, it's on a platform called StreamYard, is really just built for the computer on your computer, your phone, and you plug in headphones. And we've got cameras, we've got all this equipment that we're making it work.
So like I added the comment, Axe body spray too. Like you can add it to the
like someday they're gonna invent something that's more into, like, we can do phone calls, we can do, and that's really like the phone call thing doesn't happen until we get back into the regular season, which, oh, by the way, I've just been informed I've got pregame on Sunday.
That's correct. The game.
So you're coming to the Coliseum and working with me, right?
Yeah, have fun.
Oh, see this?
I have a family trip this weekend.
See this is where you guys need to know how things really work out with the Oakland Athletics. You get in these meetings and everybody talks about how busy they are, and I got to do this and I got to do that, and I got to keep my mouth shut. And then, like, after the show, I'll be like, I'm going to play golf. And Cody'd be like, well, why can't we record? I mean, this is when I work. This is my 8-hour shift. And everybody talks about other, and then the season starts. And very few of us who work inside the organization actually work every game, every single game. Majority of the organization does not work weekends, does not work holidays, does not work 7 days a week, does not work when the team goes on the road.
Oh, yeah, I work with you.
You're not here Saturdays and Sundays.
Doesn't mean I'm not working.
You're not working.
I'm just not sitting in here with you on the Comrex.
Ain't working. Yeah, that's where the rubber meets the road. Yeah. Just notice, A's fans, who's around on Saturdays and Sundays.
Sorry, if you look, I keep taking pictures of the screen. There's a reason. We had record viewing when we had Ryan Divish on.
Do we?
Yeah. I think the Scottsdale Bro comment really took us over the top.
Do you know a Scottsdale Bro? 86, what's the number?
833-625-2278.
Yeah.
Robert Costa's there. Call him.
Don't call. Don't call. You know what? Call Robert Costa, see how he's.
Ask if he knows what a Scottsdale Bro is.
Call Robert. Give the number out again.
833-625-2278.
Somebody do me a favor. Call Robert Costa to see if we're all set for Sunday's broadcast, because I don't know. I haven't been to the Coliseum. Last time I heard, the Coliseum had a bunch of dirt. Our press boxes were all washed out because of the storms. Smells like mold. Are we ready for Sunday? Is that going to, I mean, am I going to be able to show up, plug my stuff in, and we're ready to go?
I just got confirmation our internet is good to go in our AceCast booth. And we're good to go for the field. So the stuff on our end is taken care of.
You know what? I'm going to say this, A's fans, 59.5. You don't think we're going to win 60 games? Like, I'm not trying to sell us as we're going to win the division. I'm not trying to sell we're going to be in the playoffs. You know I wouldn't sell you on that. I'm just saying, Jeff Passan doesn't think we'll win 60 games. We can't bet. As baseball employees, we can't bet. I would hammer this number. I would hammer the number that we win. All you got to do is win 60. I'm not telling you we're going to be 500. I'm telling you, you win 60, you cash a ticket. Go to Reno, go to Vegas, bet online, offshore, whatever you need to do. Uncle Townie tells you, bet the over and under this year's 60.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that.
60. You got to win. You're trying to tell me we're not better than last year's? Last year's team was horrific.
Let me see if I can pull
We can't even name all 64 guys who played for us last year. It was so bad. We have to be better.
Let me see if Passan's article I can open, and I'll give you the what his definition of why he said.
We had guys. I remember that. Who was that guy? He was a Bay Area guy, Mickey McDonald. I mean,
yeah,
we had dudes that you're like, who are these?
Tyler
Sear,
the kid from Fremont.
Who?
Yeah, we had a lot of guys that played. I logged in. All right, here we go. I'll give you the over why he said we win 59 under 59.5. The A's won 60 games last year. They traded their best player, Sean Murphy, over the winner. The AL West is much improved. It all lines up.
Sean Murphy in the AL West. We play the AL West less. God bless Murph, but it's not like Murph hit 40 bombs, hit 340, and had 1,000 OPS.
He had a 3.5 WAR, so you take away those 3.5 wins that he helped us. Well, what do you got to look at his win probability added? But
his OPS was 759. That's average.
But if you're 20% better than league average with OPS plus,
yeah, Murph, but and Murph was terrible at the start of the year.
Yeah, remember he had a good spring. We talked about spring training numbers yesterday.
Horrible start.
We talked about spring training numbers yesterday, and then all of a sudden, you look at Murph. He had a great spring, and then the first half of the season he couldn't hit.
Yeah. But, so I got to tell you, if I'm an A's fan, I hammer the 59.5. You just got to win 60 games. That's it. And and the good thing is, too, what we've been talking about is that there's position battles. Last year, we weren't talking about position battles. Last year, we were talking about how do we fill a roster of 26 guys. And then as we realized, 64 players were used. That's not the case. We actually have a position battle right now. Who's going to make the outfield? Who's going to play shortstop? What are you going to do with Kevin Smith? What are you going to do with that? Seth Brown, you got writers saying, well, Seth Brown could go to first. We checked it. Seth Brown has not. Did he play first yesterday? I didn't check.
No, I think
Seth Brown hasn't played first base one time this spring.
And he's DHing.
You're just going to throw him back at first? There's some legit. Is Noda going to be? You going to give him a shot, even though things have dipped and lack of contact, but yet you like him? He needs an opportunity. We actually have real discussions. How about this? 6 to 7 man rotation being talked about in baseball now. Oh my God.
We go.
Oh my God.
There's some updates too from the pitching rotation as well.
Give me some A's updates.
So according to Matt Kawahara, Paul Blackburn said he's throwing a flat ground session tomorrow. Fingernail is healing well. Okay.
It's called a flusion.
Yeah. Well, we never figured out how to actually say it, but something like that. Yes. He had the fingernail issue on top of the finger issue he had last year, which is healed now. But the fingernail healing well, according to Matt Kawahara.
I'm glad I'm not at spring training right now because, we talked to Paul, great guy. We talked to him about his finger. I would probably look at him and go, really, fingernail? You had a finger problem, then now you have a fingernail problem? Really?
Those are painful.
Really?
So then I took from Martin Gallegos of MLB.com tweeted, this is from Markatse. Drew Rosinski has left hamstring tightness. He will miss his next scheduled spring start. Status for opening day is uncertain.
It's not a running back. What do you mean we got a hammy problem?
And then Kawahara had the whole article yesterday in the Chronicle about how Fuji will not start every fifth day, at least at first. That was from Katse. And Katse said it's possible Fuji could pitch every sixth day or even every seventh day during the season. Because in Japan, the last 10 years when he pitched over there, they only pitch once a week.
Oh, I did some numbers on that.
Really make sure. Once a week.
We have a new segment on the show because everybody likes analytics and everybody likes numbers. The segment's called Fight Numbers with Numbers. Do you know that if I pitch once a week, 7 games a week, right? In a week, times 9.
That's 9 times 7, 63.
Good. I'm going to give you. It really doesn't matter whether you go 5 or 6 innings in that start. It's very similar. Do you know, as a professional athlete, you go once a week for 5 or 6 innings, what percentage do you play in the week? 63 innings. You're going 5 or 6 of those 63. So you participate. Since everybody wants a participation trophy, how much do you participate in a full week, percentage-wise, if you only go 5 or 6 innings in a 7-day week?
Is that like 4%?
It's less than 4%.
It's good math on the fly by me.
Whether it's 6 or 7, whether you're in a 6-man or it's either way, you're going to be under 4%. And whether you go 5 or 6 innings, you're still under 4%. Now, anybody out there watching, can you imagine in your job a full work week? This is more than a full work week. This is 7 days. Most of us just work 5 days. You work like 4, but most people work like 5. if you only had to work 3% of the work week and get full pay, how would you feel about that?
As they say, built different, that would bother me. There's some people that love that. Like, I only have to work 3% of the
throw
time.
Throw comments on there if you're watching on YouTube. Throw comments. How would you feel that your employer is going to pay you full boat, but you only have to put in about 3% of the work a week of what you normally would have? If you're going to play every inning of every game, now you're only going to play once a week, and you're going to do it for 5 or 6 innings. You're participating in it's like 3.15. If it's 5 innings, if it's 6 innings, it's like 3.74. It's 3%.
Oh, that's right, because we talked about would he go 5 or 6 innings, and
yes.
I said 5, and you said 6.
5 or 6. You're participating in less than 4% of the work week. You think that's good? Do you think that that's my whole thing. Like what we saw with Ohtani last night, I know you're going to, but what we saw with Ohtani last night is what I've said for years. I think he's more valuable doing what John Smoltz did.
We got one YouTuber saying, I would feel like I won the lottery. Another person said, great, I'm off to the beach. See you next week. Another listener said, sign me up.
Yeah, it's like if we have A's Cast Live, we're going to do it 5 days. I'm going to come on, do an opening monologue on Monday and go, peace out. What are we running? I don't know. I'm out. I'm out. When I'm out, I'm out.
I was hoping you would go there.
Our old boss, I'm out. I mean, you start talking about the Raiders. You talk about. So my old boss hated.
Our old boss.
Our old boss hated that I was affiliated with the A's and Raiders. Hated it. And wanted me to talk Niners and Giants. And I was just like, yeah, you wonder why I left the station.
Let's do it. Another comment.
Literally would say to me, you talk Raiders, you talk A's. He's from the East Coast. I'm out. You talk about that, I'm out. I need you talking Niners and you talking Giants. You want me to talk Niners and Giants? That's what you want me to do? You think Giant fan wants to hear? I'm the Giants Antichrist, right? You know what I'd love to do? A GoPro. I'd like to take a GoPro with me to
put on your hat.
To put on my hat and watch the reaction Giants people give me when I go to the ballpark in San Francisco. They have to be nice, but they hate me. And I'm fine with that because I don't like them either. But literally, there's a disdain for me over there. And I wear it proudly. And I come walking in, and I'm not playing their Giants BS. I could give a crap that you've won 3 World Series. I literally bring it. Bring it. When I go over to Oracle Park, I have no problem.
I noticed SBC Global, but
I'm not kissing anybody's ass. It's game on. And they know it. And when they come over to Oakland, they don't pull any of that crap. They don't pull any of that. But if I go walking in there, even the guy at the elevator who knows who I am, he's like, hello, Mr. Townsend. Because I've known him for years. Hello, Mr. Townsend. You can just hear the disdain in his voice. I'm not welcome there. And I'm fine with that.
People like your Giants Antichrist. That's our townie on the streets in San Francisco would be great. And then apparently, our good friend Lucas from Australia called in. Robert Costa said Coliseum's there's a lot of wind there yesterday. So what Robert Costa is there.
One of the greatest moments ever. Where's my guy Bleacher Dave? Bleacher Dave had the World Series jersey on. He had the World Series flag. This is before the. I don't think the Giants had won a World Series yet. And I'm all in A's gear. Bleacher Dave's got the flag, and we're over at I don't even know what the hell it would have been called then, SBC Global or AT&T or whatever the hell you call their ballpark. That's overrated. Yeah, I said it.
So PNC Park.
And Larry Bear came walking up, president of the Giants, and it was hilarious. Bleacher Dave's waving the flag at him. I'm just sitting there. I've known Larry since the late 90s. Yeah.
The other station days.
That's when I worked at KMBR. Yeah. I've been gone long enough from there. Anybody that I had animosity with is gone. So there's nothing there. Yeah. I had a boss who literally, I'm like, wait a minute. You pay me to be the A's guy. You pay me to be the Raiders guy, and you don't want me talking A's Raiders. You want me talking Niners? Like I give a crap about Jimmy G?
I was going to say, you got to talk about Jimmy G.
Now he's a Raider. Oh, my God.
That meme you showed me of Jimmy G is pretty
Jimmy
good.
G's a Disney prince.
Oh, no, the other one, the Scarface one. With the money.
Oh, yeah. Where Tony Montana's
Yeah,
on that.
yeah.
Can't really talk about that. Yeah. I'm not even going over to AT&T Park this year. We're not going over. Yeah, because you know what the great thing is? Our show's expanded, so we got all this equipment. We just can't show up and do the stuff at Oracle Park. Oracle Park.
One of our fans wants you to keep talking smack to the Giants every show.
Oh, I will. I can't. So the other night I was on with Larry Krueger and his partner is doing this whole thing. His partner's like in his 60s, and his partner's doing this whole thing. It's like, I got friends who are A's fans, and the A's people are always da-da-da-da-da. I got to ask you, why do you blah, 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 blah? And I just deadpan went, because we hate them. And that's all I did. I just went like, because we hate them. And that was it. Yeah, I've had Giants people try and get me fired. I have plenty of animosity against the Giants. I have plenty of room to talk about why I do not like the San Francisco Gigantes.
Someone said Crawford's the only guy left from their 3-5.
And somebody, he's got substances in that hair. You want to check? There's no way your hair is always wet. So if I'm a pitcher, hey, Crawford, come over here. Crawford's always touching the ball as a shortstop, right? Who's playing third for them there? Because Longoria's gone.
It's either going to be VR or they have a young kid named Casey Schmidt that might be.
Okay.
We watched him play in San Jose for the Giants.
So how about this? I mean, you think I'm joking? Look at Brandon Crawford's hair. It's wet every game. It could be 8,000 degrees out. You could be in Arizona. It's flowing, dripping. It's in San Francisco. It's cold out. It's flowing, dripping. There's no rain. Why is his hair greasy and wet? Well, where's my baseball?
His hair's been long for like 8 years now.
You realize that's totally something someone could do. I'm joking, but ideally, if you were somebody like, you always like to bring up Brandon Webb back in the day with the Arizona.
Whoa, put respect on him. That's 2006 NL Cy Young winner, Brandon Webb.
You could technically think about this. When you throw the ball's always being thrown around the horn, right?
Correct.
Right.
After
okay. So let's say the inning starts. I'm Brandon Webb. I throw the ball to the catcher. Catcher throws it down to second base. Second base gets it. Second base gives it to Crawford. Crawford throws it back to the pitcher. Nobody would have noticed.
Yeah, not at all.
It didn't even go to third base because let's say your third base over there. He'd be over there talking to the third base coach. Hey, how you doing? How's the family? Yeah, it's great. All Crawford has to do is go, and nobody would question it. He's Gaylord Perry's greatest shortstop. He could put it on the ball himself. His hair is always wet. He's got something in his hair.
So another fan commented and asked, "Is your hate for the Giant? Who do you hate more, the Giants or the Astros?" It's on the screen. Is your hate greater for the Giants or the Astros?
Ooh.
Now, this is the Ask Townley segment brought to you by.
Ooh.
Well, nobody yet, but we'll get someone.
And I got a lot of hate. My hate. Do I hate more the Giants? I mean, that's like.
Come on, the Astros are recency bias, the recency thing.
Giants
is lifelong.
I hate the Astros more professionally. Personally, I hate the Giants more. Personally, it's personal. Giants, personal. Astros, it's my fandom, and I don't like them. But like if you took the Astros out of our division, like let's say when we realign, they're going to realign at some point, especially when we get to expansion, they will realign. The Astros will not be they'll be a distant memory. Like that whole era of Astros baseball, they'll be in the, I don't even know what they'll call it, the South. They'll have some type of division that they're in the South. That will let go. The Giants hate will not. That's not going anywhere.
One of our YouTubers, Jordan, says
it's ingrained in me.
He says Angry Townie is great.
I know.
It's
not good for my health.
As you say, angrier the host, the better.
Yeah. You can only pull it out so much. That's a great question because I really hate the Astros. Like, I have such disdain. Like, I look at them and I have to respect them, but I really and I think we're all the same, right? I know Altuve's a great player. I know Bregman's a great player. Verlander, and he's gone. But I mean, you look at him and you just go, screw you. Screw you. Go ahead. I mean, I will never look at you the way I'll look at, let's say, they're on this great run, right? I'll never look at them the way I look at the Yankees from the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, no.
Like, I hate the Yankees, but I'm never going to look at Jeter, Posada, Rivera. I'm never going to look at those guys and go, Derek Jeter's a chump.
Another YouTuber. Can't wait for the Ace Clubhouse show.
Right? But you're never going to look at Mariano Rivera as a cheater.
Yeah, no. You can't.
No.
There's no proof that none of them ever cheated.
Andy Pettitte, even Andy Pettitte, but he was only doing it to get healthy.
Mm-hmm.
See, to me,
You mean you Team USA, team pitching coach for the World Baseball Classic, Andy Pettitte?
I'm not as down on PED guys as everybody else.
I'm not either. I was trying to, because a lot of people don't like
because
Andy
there's a difference in PEDs, right? Just like, drug use. There's a difference. There's always a difference in stuff. Like, hardcore narcotics and marijuana are two different things. And I probably shouldn't go down this road. So I will stop. But
Thank you.
But now marijuana's legalized, right? I got a weed shop just down. I got to go by Costco. I got to go by the weed shop. There's a line out the door every day.
There's a huge one right down the street from me where I live.
Right? There's one across the street from the Coliseum.
True.
You could go to the weed shop across from the Coliseum. So you see what I'm saying? Andy Pettitte was taking human growth hormone because he had an elbow problem. He wasn't taking it for velocity. He wasn't taking it for spin rate. He wasn't taking it to get bigger. He was trying to heal his elbow. I mean, wouldn't you do everything you possibly could as a pitcher to heal your elbow so you could pitch? Wouldn't you take that kind of risk? It's not like a guy's pumping anabolic steroids the way that, Bonds, McGuire, Sosa are now looking like defensive linemen. Like, when Mark McGuire goes into an NFL locker room and he's bigger than everybody else, that's a problem.
He was big.
He was a monster.
And I was 10 years old. I'm looking like, this guy's huge.
Monster. Oh, he's just working out a lot. Uh-huh. Bonds' head changed sizes.
Look at him now.
Oh, yeah, skinny, but Barry's back. Oh, he's cycling now. Oh, God. So, wait a minute. You, bulk up because you lift weights and you cycle and your head changes size? That's not how that works. But so it's like, I can't look at those Yankees from those late 90s, early 2000s and hate them as cheaters. I will never, ever be able to look at the Astros and not think cheaters. No matter what. They could win the World Series again this year, and I'm still going to look at them and go, you're just a bunch of cheaters. You're a bunch of creative-ass cheaters. I'll give you that. That was creative. Putting a camera that goes all the way back to the dugout. I mean, it was good.
As you would
they were good at it. You know what? Give the Astros credit for being good at it. The kid that cheats to get into college? They're that kid. They figured out, they scammed away. They scammed their way in to an Ivy League school.
The dark arts is what the email titles were called, according to everything we read about Jeffrey Luno in the front office. I don't think you have it in you to tell Blummer that he's a cheater along with the Astros on Friday.
Jeff Blum is a World Series hero.
He's an Astro now, though.
He is an Astros broadcaster.
Guilty by association.
Jeff Blum is a great Cal Bear.
He was on the Cal World Series team.
Yes, he is a born and raised in Southern California, grew up as a man in Northern California, played in the College World Series for the Cal Bears, and is a World Series champion, World Series hero, and has a statue on the south side of Chicago.
Where?
South side, right?
South side, yeah.
I will never disrespect the great Cal Bear, Jeff Blum, and I will never associate him with those damn cheaters. Will not ever do that. I have too much respect for the man and his greatness.
I'm with you. We had a comment, and I don't want to get into it because we've done this so many times, and it just derails us. Is Raleigh better than Mariano Rivera? And we've done this how many times?
You can make a case that Raleigh Fingers is the greatest reliever of all time because of not only the numbers, but the volume. The volume. I mean, you're talking about a guy who can pitch 3-4 innings in a World Series game. Mariano Rivera was not doing that. So the two guys that you look at are who the award's named after: Mariano Rivera and Trevor Hoffman. The changeup. It's different time. You can't. Raleigh Fingers inherited way more runners, pitched way more innings, and had way more success that way. Now, you're going to take nothing away from Mariano Rivera, but Raleigh Fingers' career, like if you really said, okay, you guys want to take your fanboy out, because you'd be doing this against a bunch of East Coast honks. Let's take your fanboy out. Take your fandom out. Let's just go the analytics. You going to tell me Mariano Rivera is better than Raleigh Fingers?
No.
We could go everything and say, okay, we're going to throw everything involved. And we'll throw, because you're going to have more postseason with Mariano Rivera. There was more opportunity. But you got a lot of postseason with Raleigh Fingers. And you got World Series championships with Raleigh Fingers. We could really break down the numbers, analytics, and Mariano's going to come up big time short on volume.
Yeah, he will.
Not even going to come close.
Yeah, because Raleigh pitched multiple innings, and he also pitched a lot.
And that's something to factor in.
I think we looked it up how many times Raleigh Mariano Rivera came in with like ninth inning and got 3 outs when they were up by 3 or more runs. Or like Raleigh,
that wouldn't be a save.
Well, when they were up by at least 3 runs. Like, so they were up by 3 runs, and there's so many times we came in with a 3-run lead.
Yeah, Raleigh came in. There was, when you talk about relief man, the fireman, there were fires going on. Raleigh came in to pitch. I'm pitching 7, 8, 9. I got runners on. There's crap going on. They wanted these guys a good part of their career. And I'm not trying to disrespect Mariano Rivera, Trevor Hoffman. They're both Hall of Famers. They're 2 of the greats. But they wanted to get those guys, first and foremost, clean innings. They wanted clean innings. That was their role. It's Tony La Russa's fault. He started this. Tony La Russa started this. Raleigh Fingers was before Tony La Russa. Raleigh Fingers was, you're our bet. He's what Shohei Ohtani could be. That's what Shohei Ohtani could be. I've mentioned this, and I know you're going to, because I asked Johnny D and Cody to, what was the number one thing they took away from last night? Because I've got mine, which is, I think, going to be completely opposite from your guys's. But I've mentioned, like, if you're a guy that's going, I mean, you can throw Fuji in this. I don't know what Fuji's ever pitched out of the ball. I don't know enough about Fuji's career, but Ohtani can pitch out of the bullpen. It reminds me of John Smoltz. Smoltz became an all-star and the best closer. By the way, did I send you? I follow on Instagram. I follow these baseball accounts. There's an account of John Smoltz. They just showed his slider, how it's literally one of the best sliders in the history of the game. And it shows it through the years, him just punching out guys, lefties, righties. It's just this. John Smoltz's slider was sick. It was the speed, the spin. It's just unbelievable. But yet, that's what Shohei Ohtani could be. Instead of pitching Shohei once every 6 days, I'm telling you, what you saw last night, run down to the bullpen. A reliever, as they say, should be able to get loose in 8 tosses. You're doing all the band work. You're stretching. You're doing everything. You should be able to go down there. Whoop, 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 whoop. I'm ready to go. Let's go. Open the doors. Let's go. Shohei Ohtani, as a guy, you want me to give you $50 million? You want volume out of Shohei Ohtani? Because that's my problem. I'm like the only guy that's going to say Shohei Ohtani is skill set, not player. Skill set is the greatest we've ever seen. Problem is I don't get enough volume out of him. That's why I'll get back into my numbers, fighting numbers. Once again, you only pitch once a week, and you go 5-6 innings, you're only 3% of the equation. So if we do like a graph, a pie of what a full work week looks like, Shohei Ohtani from a pitching is just a sliver of the pie. Now, if he closes out 3-4 games a week, and he's hitting bombs, and he's stealing bases, and he's DHing, because DHs only give you so much of the pie. Well, I got to fill out that whole pie. I got 7 games a week, 9 innings each game, 63 innings. What do we say all the time? Pitcher's got to get me 4,374 outs. How am I getting that? Well, if Shohei Ohtani is now coming in and even able to give me an 8-9 inning save, do I and think about it. I'm telling him, you don't need 12 pitches anymore. The way John Smoltz did it. John Smoltz just said, you know what? Fastball, slider, that's all I need. And I'm blowing these dudes away in the 9th inning.
Mariano Rivera threw 1 pitch.
1 pitch. Well, think about Ohtani's slider, 3-2 slider last night on Trout. That's sick. That's all you need. You need fastball, slider. That's all you need. And I can probably preserve you because clearly there's freak out about Shohei Ohtani if there's anything wrong with him. Anything like he wakes up and's like, I just don't feel great today. Scratch, don't pitch him. Right? He's basically this precious commodity. But it's like, that's great. But if I'm going to win a World Series and I'm going to win with him, I need him to play. He's this unbelievable talent. I need him to play. If I got a great running back, do I want to give him the ball or do I want him sitting on the sidelines? God, he looks great in his gear. God, he's fast. Hell no. I want his ass out on the field and run him. Jerry Rice, get him the football. You got to get your back. Michael Jordan. Hey, Michael, you're here for one thing tonight. You know what the difference is between Michael Jordan and all these great players they talk about? Because it's not apples to apples. Do not compare LeBron James to Michael Jordan. They don't play the same position. They don't play the same game. Don't compare Magic. Don't compare Bird. Don't compare Barkley. Don't compare Mailman, any of these guys. Because they all played a game of basketball where they played the entire game. Michael Jordan showed up to the arena to do one thing.
Win?
Score. He's a scorer.
Yeah, he was pretty good at it.
Get him, though, and he was great defensively. I mean, that's what makes Michael the greatest, or top 3, is his offense and his defense, right? But he wasn't there to pass. He wasn't there to set up the triangle. He wasn't there. He was there to score. Tex Winter wasn't.
I was waiting for you to say Tex Winter.
Tex Winter was not sitting there with Phil Jackson going, what's key tonight? We need Michael to get 15 assists. Michael gets 15 assists tonight, we win.
I think it's Ron Harper's time to score.
What? Did you ever hear Marv Albert? Yes. And Doug Collins or whoever was doing the NBA, any of these playoff games, when they did keys to the game, was there ever once in the history of a Chicago Bulls playoff game, did they come on the pregame show and say, tonight's key, Michael Jordan's got to get assist?
I mean, I can't answer that question.
I'm going to bet no.
I was under 10 years old when Jordan was kicking ass. So
MJ shows up and he's showing up to score. And you want him to shoot and shoot again and shoot some more. MJ, go do what you do. He's a scorer.
And we learned from The Last Dance, he just makes things up to motivate himself. Hey, Mike, great game. He went back and he remembered some guy saying that. The next week he went and scored like 50 on him or whatever it was. Because some guy apparently said, nice game, Mike.
What Jeremy Roenick talked about, they played 18 holes. They're drinking beers. Hockey great Jeremy Roenick.
Shark legend.
Former Shark. They played 18 holes, right? They played 18 holes of golf. They're drinking Bud Lights. Jordan wanted to play again because he lost to Roenick. So he played 36 holes drinking. And Roenick's going, you got a game tonight. So Roenick bet against the Bulls because he's like, Jordan's been drinking beer all day. He's played 37. Jordan went out and put up like 44. Jordan showed up. He either had the Porsche or the Ferrari, pulled into the United Center, and he was there to do one thing, to light your ass up like a Christmas tree.
And he did. I'm curious, how many career assists did Jordan average?
Yeah, where's Jordan on the career assists? Yeah. Remember, he's a guard. Even though he's a shooting guard, he's a guard. Guards get assists.
Jordan averaged 5.3 assists per game. But he averaged 30 points per game in his career.
What was Michael Jordan there? Give me the assist list. Where is he on the all-time assist list?
Let me get it.
Led by John Stockton. Is it still Magic number 2?
Mark Jackson passed him, but I think it's, Steve Nash, Mark Jackson, Magic Johnson.
All-time assist leaders. Where is Michael Jordan on the list?
John Stockton, Jason Kidd, Chris Paul, LeBron James.
See, this is why, folks, the whole sports talk thing, LeBron versus Michael, is stupid. LeBron James is 4th all-time assist. LeBron plays a different game.
Steve Nash, Mark Jackson, Magic, Oscar Robertson.
Wait, he's not in the top 10.
Russell and Isaiah Thomas. Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. We'll get to him.
We're in the 40s now.
I lost where let me see where assists.
Even Kobe's in the top 30.
I just want to make sure. Okay, assists is over here. Jordan, Steph Curry's in the top 50. How many assists does Jordan have in his career? I should tell you on here. That way I can find it faster. Nope, this tells you the per game. So he's on the top 50.
Steph Curry already has more assists than Michael Jordan.
Yeah, unless we.
Now he's technically a point guard.
Hey, Scottie Pippen's on the list.
Yeah, because Scotty, I've seen.
Whoa, 51st, Michael Jordan, followed closely by Allen Iverson.
Scottie Pippen, I've seen in I don't know if it actually made The Last Dance or not, but Scottie Pippen talked about that was my role. We did everything so Michael could score. Because that's what you do with Michael Jordan. Everybody worked around Mike. That was the role, right? That was his role. Michael Jordan showed up and everybody did. Michael Jordan could do everything, but the main thing you wanted the emphasis on what you wanted him scoring. We're going to win when he scores. So we'll all pick up the slack in other places. Michael Jordan played a long time and he's 51st in assists. For how many games Michael Jordan played in? Michael Jordan's in the era where they played 81 games. Other than when he got hurt, Michael Jordan played every game, and he's 51st in assist.
Yeah.
Well, I don't need him to assist.
Yeah.
I need him to score. I want him to score. And Shohei Ohtani, I need volume. How do I get volume? I need more than just the 4 at-bats at night. And I need more than just one start. I mean, Fuji. We're talking about Fuji's going to start 1 time a week for us?
Yeah, officially.
Once again, if Fuji goes 5 or 6 innings once a week, he's only giving us 3% of the 100% we need.
If you missed it earlier.
We need 100%. He's only 3% a part of the game.
If you missed it earlier, Matt Kawahara of the San Francisco Chronicle has a piece out about Shintaro Fujinami, and he said that Fuji will not start every 5th day, at least at first. That was from Mark Kotze. Said it's possible Fuji can pitch every 6th day or even every 7th day during the season. In Japan, they only pitch once a week, so they have 6 days in between starts. So I think he doesn't. Essentially, Kotze and the team doesn't want to break his routine early.
It's almost like we need to send a memo over to Japan saying, "Boys, we're going to be taking your pitchers want to come over here and pitch. We need these guys to start throwing more than once a week."
Well, I don't know if you heard during the Japan Mexico game. Roki Sasaki, the 21-year-old phenom, the kid that throws 102 miles an hour, during their Japanese showcase over there, which Ohtani was in. Last time Ohtani had a save, by the way, was when he was in 2016. He closed out a game. Sasaki threw like 500 pitches throughout this tournament. 500 pitches. That's a big thing. Like they worry about Japanese pitchers is these guys throw so much through high school, and then that's what they've been babying Sasaki the last couple of years he's playing professionally.
Wow. It's time for Johnny D. Hello, Johnny D. How are you?
Good, fellas. How are you?
We've got a big matchup today against the Cubs. These two teams don't like each other.
Yeah, well, huge matchup as we get ready to last week of spring. So this should be fun, man. James Caprillion going for the Athletics today. So that will be interesting. Looking forward to seeing what he does today. And then Alzolay going for the Cubs.
Well, actually, this is very important. I mean, to me, we had a great interview with James Caprillion. It was real, where I talked to him. I mean, we're live, and I'm like, hey, you want to be the guy. I know who you want to be, and you haven't been that guy. You haven't been able to live up to it. I'm like, for me, this is your year. And he was like, I appreciate that because that's how I feel. He wants to be that guy. Well, if he didn't start the season healthy, we were okay with it at the time. Get right. But now, I mean, Rusinski's got a hammy. Blackburn's got a nail. We're almost at a point to where we need Cap to come out with a good again today, because Cap may be in the rotation to start the season.
Yeah, I think he will be in the rotation at the start of the season. And, look, he's always wanted to be the guy. And even his first year at UCLA, when he was picking the brains of the juniors there, they saw leadership qualities from him at UCLA and going through the minor league system of the Yankees. Always wanted to be the guy. And, yeah, I mean, he's got those qualities. So I can't wait to see what happens today with Cap and looked good in his last appearance. He went 4 innings in his last one. So hopefully 5 or 6 innings today. And yeah, we're getting pretty close now, Townie. We're getting pretty close to the season as we start on Thursday. I was talking to Vinny about it. Eight days in the home opener. So yeah, there's still some questions remaining in that rotation, even on opening day. Who's gonna get the ball on opening day? Just with the way it's kind of working out with the way the schedule is with the rotation. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Do you get the sense it's a little different, especially now that guys really know that, man, they are truly playing for these last few spots on the roster?
Yeah, and I was talking to Tony Kemp about that today. Look, it's just not about the roster spots. He's got a roster spot. So I was telling him about the intensity of this week and trying to get in focus, get in rhythm. He said it's so different for him now the way it used to be when he was young. But now that he's a veteran guy, this is the week you try to you kind of get down to business and get serious and get your rhythm and all that. So yeah, and guys are battling for roster spots right now. So this is a very big week for a lot of guys, and a lot of questions haven't been answered. Like we talked about, the outfield, is that settled? Is the infield settled? They're going to be different parts. Who's going to make this club? So that there are a lot of questions remain, which is exciting for us just to see. But I'm sure the players want some finality to this.
Not going to ask you yet. This will be later in the week. But are you now starting to think for yourself, since you're watching it every day, have you kind of made up your mind what you think the 26 should be?
I go back and forth, Downey. I really do. Like sometimes I'll say Ruiz.
David Forrest is going to walk in that door behind you and go, Johnny, what do we do? You can't be wishy-washy.
Yeah, he's really going to see what I have to say, right? But no, it's not even being wishy-washy, Townie. There are so many questions need to be answered. Look, Ruiz and Pache, will they be in the outfield together? Will they both make the team? And if they do, does that mean Rooker goes down to AAA? It's not even being wishy-washy. It's just we don't know. Like I don't know what what we're going to do. What is the big club going to decide to do? And maybe it depends on who they're facing the first week of the season and their off days in there and all that. So I don't know. I personally think Ruiz and Pache will both be on the opening day roster. That's what I predict will happen.
I like it.
But I don't what do I know?
You know a lot. You've been the one watching these games. We haven't been able to see all these games. That's why your opinion really matters so much, because you've had eyeballs on it. I like big, bold statements. I like that. Ruiz and Pache make the team.
I think so. I honestly think they will. I honestly think they will. I could be wrong, but
yeah, you know what's so interesting when you mention Ruiz, no matter what his data looks like or what his stats look like, we know in this game now of speed, boy, is his speed important.
No question. And look, his speed's important, and he also leads the team in RBIs right now. So he's been very productive. He's got some really good at-bats. And I looked through my book. There have been some line drives hit right at people, too. So what's he hitting, Vinny? Ruiz is hitting 289. He's 11 for 38 and could be 14, 15 for 30. I know it's spring and you're facing some AA and some AAA guys. There's no question about it. But I don't know, just from watching him last year in El Paso to watching him now, his bat's quicker, he's bigger, he's stronger. And I went in thinking, well, big league pitching, will Ruiz be able to, and we'll see when the season starts. But I will say this, his bat to me looks better than it did last year, and he looks bigger. And he's going to run with reckless abandon on the bases, which is going to be so exciting for A's fans this year.
I love that idea. If you had an outfield, I guess we really need, even though he hasn't played first base at all this spring, if we're trying to say we got to get these outfield bats in the lineup, Seth Brown obviously can go back to first base, even though he hasn't been there all spring. You can move Ramon Laureano to right. Would you from what you've seen, would you go Pache center, Ruiz left, or would you switch that? How would you align the outfield?
Well, when you think about it, Brown and Laureano are going to be in the outfield. So it's going to be Pache and Ruiz. How are you going to divvy that up? Like, look, they're both center fielders. Pache is a little bit better defensively, I think, than Ruiz, but Ruiz can play a solid center field too. So I don't know how that's going to work. Obviously, we talk about both those guys in the outfield with Brown and left and Laureano and right. You can't get both Pache and Ruiz out there. I just think they're both going to make the club, is what I'm saying. That's what I think is going to happen. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you match that up. And then you have Brent Rooker. Rooker's had a great spring. What do you do with Brent Rooker? Does he start in AAA? And then as far as the infield goes, what about Smith? Smith has had a really good spring. So I don't know. It's tough when you look at the numbers and you try to get it down to 26 and you think you have it down, but then you say, what about this guy? What about that guy? So it's very David Forrest and company. They have some tough decisions looming very shortly.
Well, there's never going to be a set lineup. We haven't had a set lineup, and not even Bob Melvin had a set lineup. So Seth Brown is versatile. So Seth Brown can play outfield. He can play left. He can play right. He can play first. He can DH. Aguilar can play first. That's how you get both the speedsters in there. What you've seen from Aguilar first base, what have you seen?
Well, even Katse said it. He's serviceable there. He's not quick, at first base, but he's serviceable over there at first base. He'll DH a ton, I think, this year. But he can play some first base. But Vinny, did Katse say in that presser that Brown would play first base in a couple days? Did he say that? Or
he'll be in the field.
He'll be in the field. He'll be in the field, not necessarily at first base, but he'll be in the field in a couple days. Seth Brown will. So, and today, Brownie's the DH. Brownie's the DH number 2 slot today, so it'll be good to see him in the lineup again.
I'm glad we got stuff to talk about.
I know. It's exciting, right?
Right, because last year it was just, how are we going to find 26 guys?
Yeah, exactly.
It's different. All right, so yesterday we couldn't play Know Your Angels because I don't know if you know it, but your Wi-Fi was tough, so we couldn't play it. And I think today is going to be a day that you shine.
We'll see.
I think today is a day. Commander has come up with the questions as we previewed our hated neighbors to the south, the Los Angeles of Angels, Anaheim, Disney, whatever the hell they call themselves these days. All right, it is Know Your Angels, and I have the Rally Monkey here to support you.
Don't forget the Otani.
And the Otani and the Shohei Otani.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, Otani 1 Kenobi bobblehead.
Do you think when Otani was growing up in Japan and all he wanted to do was play baseball, that someday he would get a Star Wars bobblehead, like that was his dream?
I don't think so. No, I don't think he thought about that much. I really don't.
Do you think his family is like, oh, let's put this up in the house?
Doubtful. Very doubtful.
All righty. Know Your Angels. Are you ready, Cody?
Yes. Johnny, first question. I am the winningest manager in Angels history.
Gene Mauch.
No, he was there a long time, this guy.
I was there 20 years, bro.
What's that?
I was there 20 years. His name's Mike Sosha.
Oh, that's right. Big Social.
Vinny got it. 1,650 wins.
Vinny cannot answer these questions. That's cheating. Vinny cannot answer.
All right.
I have the most home runs in Angels history. Don't overthink it.
Tim Salmon.
Don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it.
Mike Trout.
There you go.
And
all right.
A lot of them are against the A's.
All right. This one should be easy. I have the most strikeouts in Angels history.
The most strikeouts as a pitcher, Nolan Ryan.
Yep. There you go. All right. He's on a roll now. All right. Here we go. Who was the last Angel to win the American League Cy Young Award?
Who am I?
You know it?
I'll give you former.
No.
Okay. All right.
Former Angel.
You can fall out of bed and throw strikes. Come on, Johnny.
Portola Colon.
Yes. Yes. Great.
The Angels have had 2 Cy Young winners, him and the great. Where were you when Dean Chance won in 1964?
I wasn't alive.
Yeah, either was I.
I wasn't born yet. No.
All right, last one. I started Game 7 of the 2002 World Series.
John Lackey.
Wow,
Yes.
look at that. There you go.
Yes, Know Your Angels.
We did do Know Your Cubbies, but I don't know if
Do you even want to go down Know Your Cubbies?
I'll give you this one's very recency bias, and you should know the guy should be at the ballpark. I am the most recent recipient of the Ford C. Frick Award.
Oh, Pat Hughes.
There you go. San Jose State's own Pat Hughes.
I got the
That's
San Jose
right.
State College Night A's sweatshirt on today. I
Love it.
All righty. Great stuff. Oh, by the way, what's the one thing you took away from the WBC?
Just how great it was for the game as a whole to see the world, because everybody talks about soccer. I have friends that are soccer guys, and they're soccer is such a world game. Well, this proved baseball's a world game as well. And just to watch Ohtani and Trout, there was nothing like that. That was great. I saw today that Trout has swung and missed 3 straight times, 24 times in his whole, of 6,800 plate appearances, 24 times. He swung and missed 3 different times in the same at bat, which is what he did against Ohtani. It was a great matchup. That was fun.
I want you to say it. Soccer's overrated. Go ahead. You can say it right here.
Soccer's overrated.
There you go. That's the number one thing we've learned today. Soccer is by the way, Ryan Divish from the Mariners. We previewed the Mariners. He was talking about Kelnick, and he was talking about Scottsdale bro type guy. You know the guy in Scottsdale in the tank top and the barbed wire tribal tattoo in downtown Scottsdale?
Never seen him. I don't know.
You don't know?
I'm new to this, Kelly. I don't know.
I'm sure Vince has seen the Scottsdale Bros before.
I don't hang out in Scottsdale. I'm a suburbanite.
Yeah, he's in Gilbert. He's above all this. He's in Gilbert, Arizona. All righty. We will where are we tomorrow? What do we got? Tomorrow's a night game.
Tomorrow's a night game in surprise. Yep.
Are you surprised?
Yeah. Vinny's not going. I'm on my own tomorrow.
There's no surprise with that, let me tell you.
You're Johnny Solo tomorrow?
Johnny Solo tomorrow night. Yep.
What time are we on?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. So we'll talk to you at 5:30 tomorrow.
I'll be there.
All right, buddy. Have a good call.
All right. Thanks, buddy. We'll see you.
Johnny D. Johnny on the spot. Doesn't know what a Scottsdale bro is.
Vince knows. Vince is lying.
Well, he said we don't have them in Gilbert.
As we do with everyone, we like to throw people on the bus when not here. So I'm just going to throw Vince on the bus. He knows what a Scottsdale bro is. I'm fairly certain.
Oh, he totally knows what a Scottsdale bro is. There's no doubt about it.
So
we're on tomorrow. So we're on it like a normal. I know when we're doing these shows, we get it. This is not being from 11 to 1 is not a normal time. It's just not. You guys are working. I get it, but we're in spring training too. And this was the first year because we normally only did 3 shows a week. It was like, you know what? There's not. Let's just do something. If you want to participate and listen, watch, great. If not, get it. But it's just. It gives us some A's content because you're not going to get A's content. This is the only place you're getting A's content. This is the only place you're getting non-stadium content, right? This is the one place. You want to hear about it, listen to it, what's going on, and it's not stadium related. This is the place to come.
Yeah, so we'll be on from 4 to 6 tomorrow. We're going to have Jared Sandler on from the Rangers to preview. Wait for it. The Rangers, because we're playing, even though it worked out great because we're playing them.
Yeah. And
we're going to have him on. He does pre and post them. He fills in sometimes on the radio broadcast.
Do you feel that the Rangers could be a surprise team in Surprise, Arizona? Get it?
I got
surprise,
it. Yeah.
Surprise.
Not your best work.
I'll be here all week.
By the way, A's lineup today. Tony Kemp leading off, playing second. Seth Brown DHing. Aledmus Diaz at short, hitting third. Jesus Aguilar hitting cleanup, playing first. Jace Peterson batting fifth, playing third. Ramon Laureano hitting sixth, playing right. Shea Langoliers hitting seventh, playing catcher. Your guy, Connor Capel, hitting eighth, playing left.
He's making the team.
And Esty Ruiz, our good friend Esty Ruiz, batting ninth and playing center field.
Hey, in the pronunciation guide, it's Este Uri Ruiz.
Yes.
Este Uri Ruiz. But the way he says it, we're going Esty as like a nickname.
Yep. And Cap's on the mound for the A's. James Caprillion for short, or for long. Cap for short.
I never thought we'd be saying, man, we need him healthy.
He's pitched in 5 innings this spring, but he's looked good so far.
Need him healthy. James Caprillion's got to be – somebody's got to take the ball right now.
Yeah, well, as we mentioned earlier.
Like if you're going Fuji once a week, like –
we mentioned earlier here, I'll get it.
Hey, you know my whole thing is, and here's the other thing. I get it, but here's the other thing I get. Are we doing this to help him out for his free agency? What? I understand, but I also understand Are we just, if he goes out, lights it up one day a week, guess what? He's signing with somebody else. In theory. But it's just like, he's a Scott Boras guy. There's no loyalty. There's no loyalty in anything with Scott Boras.
Fact.
Right? And I'm not hating on him for it. It's the business. But Scott Boras, like, what do you get out of a guy pitching one day a week? Especially from like a business side. I want to sell tickets. I want him to pitch multiple times a homestand. I want to sell more tickets. I want to sell more merch. Versus, he's going to pitch once this homestand, then next on the road. I want him pitching as much at home as I possibly can get him. If you want to manipulate him from a standpoint, maybe one every 6 days, could be one every 7 days. Make it at home.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's the idea of him pitching once a week is,
remember when we were so worried about Sonny Gray's innings?
Yeah. Well,
how'd that work out?
I said to you,
I'm tired of worrying about we need volume. We need people to play. This is professional sports. Your job is to show up and play. Too much talk about why guys can't play. Way too much.
It came out today. And
by the way, how long does everybody think their careers are?
They're usually not long.
If I'm a player, I'm like, I got 6 years, 5 years. If I'm lucky, 10. I want to play every game I possibly can get in. Everybody's acting like they're going to have a 20-year career. Not many people play for 20 years. Your career is going to go like that. So I go to the manager. I'm available every day. Pitch me, play me as much as you can play me. We're at a point to where we don't like playing guys. We want to act like everybody's this precious commodity. Can't play him. Can't touch him. We're going to pitch a guy once every 6 days. So then he can go sign with somebody else next year. I don't get it.
So this came out today, and we'll get to something else. Drew Rosinski has left hamstring tightness per Mark Kotze. He will miss his next spring start.
What do you do for 5 days, by the way? Now that I'm going to get pissed, what do you do for 5 days? You pitch. What do you do? I pitch on Monday. What do I do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? What do you do for those 5 days?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
What are you doing?
You throwing bullpens on the
How
side?
How many times can you work out? How many massages? How much? What are you doing that all time? Aren't you bored as a professional athlete performing? You're never performing. You barely play. How could you even like that? Don't you want to play?
Yeah, you would think so. So Rosinski.
Fuji, I'd walk in. Wait, what? I'm ready to go every 4 days. I want to play.
I don't think CC Sabathia is on the staff.
Does anybody understand what I'm saying? You're playing 3% of the time for a week. How many bags of sunflower seeds can you eat?
How many things of what's the gum?
Bubblicious.
Is that what it is? Yeah. How many things that?
What do? You pitch on Monday. When are we gonna see you again? You pitch on Monday. When do we see you?
Most likely Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday.
What do you do? What are you doing all week? How much can you work out?
There could be an off day, so it could be Sunday. If you go if you pitch every 5 days.
Don't you want to play? You play a sport. Don't you want to play? Don't you want to play in games? Isn't that the thrill of it? The competition, the love, to play, the whole thing. Don't you want to do it? Instead, you're just sitting in your uniform in the dugout game after game after game.
Well, it gets into a good point. You asked Johnny what his one thing from the WBC took away from it. I'll give you mine. I think we've seen the future for Shohei Ohtani. And that gets into how do you want to maximize what he does the rest of his career pitching. He could bat 4 times and run out to the bullpen in the 8th, get warmed up and come in and throw 100 and strike out 3 guys and see you later, game over.
He's far more valuable.
I would absolutely love to see him do that. That was awesome. Yeah, it sucks that Team USA lost, and it was great to see him and Trout. It was
Are you
great.
okay? You gonna recover? That Team USA just took home a random. Do we call it a bronze or a silver?
Silver. I believe, silver. Yeah.
Are we okay? It's not an Olympic medal. It's a.
Well, Japan's not won 3 times. They're now the greatest. They're the greatest country at the world base. They won 3 out of the 5. 3 out of the 5. Us and the Dominican won the other 2. So there you go. I mean, Ohtani pitching in relief, I think that could be so valuable for the next team that gets in, the Dodgers or the Mets, the Yankees, the Mariners. I'm not going to say the Giants, but you can say the Giants. They're not going to throw the money at him like he'll want. They'll go out and sign 3 guys that can value Ohtani like they did this year. But yeah, I think we're seeing what could you maximize his value. Him as a closer coming out, still throwing 100 2 years from now. Sign me up. Last night was awesome, and it wasn't great for my wife, who's an Angels fan, because she got to see. She saw what happened. It was great for baseball as a sport. That was awesome. Even having Darvish pitch in the 8th was good too. I thought that was cool. You know, you go to home run to Schwarber. So what was yours?
I was sleeping, but I didn't wake up from my nap.
Schwarber's home run didn't wake you up? I mean, he had a moonshot.
You mean another solo home run? 4 solo home runs, 3-hour and 18-minute game. You know, the baseball we're trying to get away from is what we had last night. 4 solo home runs, 3 hours and 18 minutes. No, if you know this show and you know me, you know I'll see it completely different. Johnny talked about the greatness of what it is for baseball. That's what everybody's going to tell you. You're talking about Ohtani. Yeah, you have a good take. Ohtani coming out, being this is where his value could be as a hitter and a pitcher. Pitching in more games, helping you win more games. I had nothing from the actual game. It's what I saw after the game. Did you see who was putting the medals around the players' necks?
I didn't, but I'm gonna assume that it was Commissioner and our friend Rob Manfred.
He was one.
I don't know. I thought it was gonna be Manfred.
See, people don't pay attention to the business side of things.
I turned the game off after it was over.
Everybody's a fanboy. I was fascinated because Tony Clark was right next to him.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it, but I don't want to be wrong.
Tony Clark, Rob Manfred, 2 guys who absolutely despise each other. They can't stand each other. They have been fighting with each other for all these years. So you wonder, like, why would the owners be okay with a guy like Edwin Diaz or Jose Altuve getting hurt? Why would you care? Why? Oh my God. All you needed to do was watch last night after the game. And that's when I started researching. And if you're just tuning in, a lot of you don't know that the WBC is a franchise. It's owned by Major League Baseball and the Players Union. Let me say that again. It's a franchise, and it's owned by baseball and the Players Union. Follow the money. This is another money grab for Major League Baseball. They have sent out the bat signal to all the media honks. Promote. That's why everywhere on Twitter, anybody who's got a blue check mark and is around Major League Baseball is trying to sell you that this is the greatest thing ever, because that's what baseball wants them to do. In the meantime, you've got sold out stadiums around the globe. You got merchandise. We don't even know what the television contracts are. We just know Fox is picking it up.
I've been trying to monitor what the ratings are. I haven't seen anything.
We hear about the ratings in Japan, how great they are. We know that Japan will get $3 million for winning. U.S. gets 1.7 split amongst the players. All these teams get some money, and then their baseball federations, whatever the heck that is, they get a couple $100,000. But there's millions being made. Where's it going? It's kind of like the NCAA tournament. You watch the NCAA tournament. Where's all the money go?
Great question.
Because the NCAA tournament is put on by the NCAA. Not like bowl games. Bowl games are put on, but the Rose Bowl puts on the Rose Bowl. The Orange Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, they put those games on. It's not the NCAA. The NCAA puts on the tournament. They're the ones that rent out the arenas. And the staffs are all free because the local colleges, like when the tournament's been here down at SAP, that's been joint San Jose State, Santa Clara, employees working for free running the tournament. So this hundreds of millions of dollars in the television contract that they do with CBS goes somewhere. All the money made from the tickets, from the merchandise, goes somewhere. Goes into the NCAA's pocket. So you want to tell me why everybody now is telling me how great the WBC is and why the WBC and encourage it and say it's great. And so the players are in on it too. The players union, I don't know. Where does the money go? Who's dividing it? The owners obviously are getting money because the owners, if the owners are going to say, go ahead, take the players, somebody's getting greased on that side. And then now we know. Now, I didn't know till last night when I started looking it up. Oh, wow, the Players Union is co-owner of this event. So where does the Players Union side of the money go? Don't find that on the internet, do you?
No, I'm sure we'll probably get the ratings from later.
That would be an interesting question. Since the Players Union always complains that we don't get to see the owners' books, right? Why don't we get to see the players' books? What's the Players Union doing with the money? This is like some secretive thing I didn't realize. And I'm not trying to say I'm Inspector Clouseau, but I think I kind of figured something out last night. There's money being made. You've got all the people. You name it. Now that we've met the Cespedes barbecue guys, you should have seen, like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. No, it's not the greatest thing I've ever seen. It's cool. Like I said earlier, I like baseball. You put more baseball on, I'm cool with it. But no, this isn't the greatest thing I've ever seen. But they're like, oh, this is you don't like it, you're an idiot. Baseball throughout the bat signal, everybody talk about this tournament's amazing. And then you find out the owners and the players own it. Where's the money going? Why are we doing this? I think you start to figure out. But it is. It grows the game. It's great. Everything's great. But they're not doing this if they lose money. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
There you go. Interesting.
D-Rose said it best after the game. He said that the baseball world won. I agree. I also think last night, here's a take for you. I think D-Rose pretty much shored up that he's going to get a managerial job after the season.
Why? He's a loser.
He was already in.
Yeah, I said it.
He was already in the running for it.
Soccer stinks. Johnny said that, and D-Row can't win the big one.
Whoa. And Jared Kelenick's a Scottsdale bro.
Cubbies and Athletics next. Remember, we're on tomorrow night, 4 to 6. We'll see you right here. A's Cast Live. Enjoy little A's baseball.
It's that time of the year. Single game tickets are now on sale for the 2023 season. Don't miss out on securing your tickets for some of the biggest matchups, fireworks, drone shows, giveaways, and more.